Hey guys, in this video we are going to be talking about what it takes to double your business.
Now this sounds like a big ask, but it's totally doable. And with the 4 things that we're going to show you in this video, we've seen it happen time after time after time and again. And pretty quickly too.
Let's do this! Firstly, let's start with what does doubling your business actually mean to you? Because it's different for different businesses. So set your North Star goal. Do you want to double the amount of clients? Double the amount of members? Double the amount of retainer income? Double the amount of widgets sold? Double the amount of profit even? The best goals are the ones that feel tangible to us individually. Like, what can we actually get excited about? And then, how do you do it?
Let's dive into the 4 things that are going to help you to double your business.
Firstly, if you want to double your business, then you need to stop just relying on referrals. Generally, service-based businesses are most guilty of this one, and we often see them actually not prioritizing time to spend on growing the business because they have the convenience of getting lots of referrals and repeat business.
Now, we're not saying that referrals are bad. In fact, quite the opposite. Referrals are great, and it means that you've been doing a fantastic job. However, if you want to double your business, then you can't just rely on referrals and take your foot off the gas with everything else that you can do to promote your business. Here's why.
A, you are handing over control of your business growth. If referrals are your only source of new leads, then you do not have full control over how fast you are actually growing.
And this is a huge problem because if you want to double your business, then you're going to have to sell more. And if you're just relying on referrals and you're just avoiding selling, you're not going to find out what works to sell your products and services better. And thus, you're going to be stuck.
And B, the downside to referrals is that sometimes you may want to do something new. You might want to launch something new or do something different with your business, but you keep getting referrals for the old stuff. And alongside that, in some cases, it can cap your pricing because the person who's referred the lead may have told that person what to expect. And if you're not charging enough, then that can be a problem.
We know some businesses that have had tremendous growth based on just referrals, but we think that even those companies could be further ahead if they weren't just putting all their eggs in the referral basket. Which brings us on to point 2. If we want to double our business, then we do actually need to sell more often.
In our Atomic program, we teach that sales is just as important as marketing, right? There's no point in growing an audience and generating leads if we can't close the sale at the end of the day.
Social media marketers and content marketers, I think, have a lot to answer for when it comes to businesses not selling enough. Because a lot of the advice out there is that sales is bad and that you should never sell on social. You should create authority and trust and create valuable content and build relationships. And that's all great advice. Like, we should totally be doing that 100%. But here's the thing, let's work a little bit smarter here. All that takes so much time. And if you want to grow and double your business, then all we need to do is actually just go out there and close more sales. And you can do that straight away.
We've even challenged some of our Atomic members. We've said to them, you know what, you need to go out and you need to message 5 potential customers this week. Or, right, you're going to an event, you need to pick up 5 new leads whilst you are there. And just pushing themselves or having us push them, it actually works. They can get the leads when they actually try to get the leads, and they can then go and close blah, 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 blah. Ready? I'm going to do this again. Ready? And it works when they're actually pushed to go do it. They can get the leads and close the sales. And it's the exact same thing with us too. When we actually push ourselves to sell, we make more that month. Slower months are usually caused by us not selling enough, which brings us on to point 3.
If you want to double your business, then you need to focus on what is bringing in the money and ditch the unimportant. Generally, the biggest growth barrier we see businesses face isn't because they aren't doing enough. It's because they are doing too much of the unimportant. You see, when you join our Atomic program and we take people on this journey to doubling their business, the first thing we do is help them to figure out what's going to have the biggest impact on their business and essentially stop doing all these other things they think they should be doing but really they don't.
And importantly, it's not the same for everyone. There's not one size fits all. For example, Facebook ads might work really, really well for one business and just be a complete and utter waste of time for another.
So you need to follow the money and use data to find out what works for your business so that you can ditch all the unimportant stuff.
The unimportant could be things like specific income streams, or specific clients, or that Facebook live show that's going nowhere, or that collaboration side hustle that's taking all your attention away, or even that book that you're writing. Work out where you're spending your time that's actually holding you back from that goal, and where you should actually be investing more time to grow. To grow, you need to focus on the important and just stop doing altogether all the unimportant stuff.
Which brings us on to point 4. If we want to grow our business, then we need to spend more time in the business and not...
Nope. Not even close.
On the business. Oh,
the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite, in fact.
What you just said, say the opposite of that when you do it this time.
Which brings us nicely on to point 4. If we want to double our business, we need to spend more time working on the business and not working in the business.
Nailed it.
And one of the best ways to do this is to outsource as much as possible, because the more you outsource, then the more time you have to actually grow your business.
I feel like you were on fast forward.
No, I was. Let's go a little bit quicker.
And if you can't afford to outsource and you're already too busy to actually work on the business, then you need to raise your prices and sell more. Because let's say if you doubled your prices, you could work half the amount of time and make the same amount of money whilst getting lots of time back.
Hell yeah.
Or you could afford to outsource more of what you do, also getting time back.
Hell yeah! So if you want to grow the business, double it, and keep growing, then you should never actually be at 100% capacity. Because if you are at 100% capacity, you're going to plateau because you don't have time to work on the business. And this is where people stall.
Now, we've worked with hundreds of small business owners, and we know a lot of this is easier said than done, so we want to help with that.
You see, if you're unsure about what's going to have the biggest impact on your business and what you should actually stop doing, and if you're not confident enough to go out there and close those sales, or if you're just completely unavoidant, or if you don't even know how to sell more, even if you wanted to, and if you struggle to raise your prices and actually start outsourcing loads and loads of stuff, then you have a problem, a big problem in fact. And you might be thinking, well, Dan, how do I actually do all that? Like, how do I go about raising my prices? I'm not sure if people are going to pay that much. How do I start outsourcing? Like, where do I start with that? How much do they charge? Like, what about all these things? Like, how do I actually go and sell this stuff? All these things might be holding you back.
Well, that's what the first module of Atomic helps with. And if you're interested, in the description, we've dropped a link to a quick behind the scenes look of that first module. It will show you how you can start to overcome all of these issues that Pete just talked about so you can actually start growing your business. Because guys, you can do this.
You can do this. Hope that's been helpful. Now you know what to do to double your business. So let us know in the comments, what was your biggest takeaway?
And maybe let us know in the comments what you want to work on first, or what maybe you need to work on the most. Is it the whole relying on referrals thing? Is it that you need to sell more? Is it that you need to focus more on what's important and actually ditch some of that unimportant stuff? Or is it that you just need to find some more time to actually start working on the business? Let us know in the comments. Let us know if you've got any questions about that. We're happy to jump in.
He's been Andrew, I've been Pete. Make sure you subscribe and we'll see you next time.
Bye guys! Woo!